Anything different with you this right now than maybe from 1 year ago? The way you're approaching the game, the way you're approaching yourself, the way you're approaching the team?
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm always trying to evolve. Whether it's mental approach, physical approach, just knowing what I need to get better in certain areas of the game and what I can do in my off time and kind of the in-between time between the end of the season to the workouts, and then going forward what I can do.
During your off-season, kind of progressing to this point, how often did you think about last year and how long it take to kind of get that out of your system collectively as a team?
Collectively as a team, I can't really answer that, I guess, because the coaches are here, they're reviewing everything, what we did, what we could have done. Each guy's, you see guys here and there, but everybody kind of goes away to decompress for a little bit. I definitely spent time thinking about it, and I still will in previous seasons as well. That's just how I like to do things. Kind of have a collective, space of information I can kind of call back on what went well, what didn't go well, maybe why, never know, but try to make some educated decisions based off that and use them going forward to get better.
Harrison, with how short the off season is, you guys don't really get a lot of a break. Do you have to press that reset button maybe a little bit faster each time, or ways around it?
I don't think so. For me, it feels super long, especially if you don't make the playoffs. It's honestly, I hate to complain about it. Like most people think it's awesome, but it gets boring when you're trying to find things to do to stay busy. So it's great to be back in the building and have some semblance of preparing for something and working towards a goal together.
You said you're searching for whys and when things go wrong. What did you kind of come up with as to why this team kind of took a step backwards, at least from the record standpoint last year?
We're still going over that and just sitting in meetings with the coaches now and Sam and going over reasons why we won and reasons why we lost games. Every year, every team that doesn't make the playoffs always says there's a couple plays here and there. But really, I think there's a lot of things you can point to. It's a team game. It's everything has to be on the same page, and we didn't have that, and it's not really like I don't look at it as taking a step back from 2018 versus 2017 versus how many years before that, because every year really does. You can learn from those, but like every year it's its own thing. You can't just start back up and say like, yeah, we were pretty good, now let's get a little better. Like we're just right now it's nothing. We just have to build a foundation from here. And I think when we take that approach, like this type of group we have here, the culture in the building, I think that's when we're at our best.
On that note, Coach Zimmer's talked this offseason about stringing success together from season to season, and maybe that's something that he struggled with as a coach. How, from a player's perspective, do you get that continual line of success where it can go from 1 year and not have a drop off?
The question's probably too big for me to answer. It's a good question. I think that's probably what everyone in the NFL seeks. It's definitely I think there's definitely a culture aspect to it, and there's seasons that we've had that are, I still don't think ultimately successful. We haven't had one, but making the playoffs, people put as a big goal, stringing those seasons together. Just consistency with that. But like I said, if you're not winning at all,
Harrison, defenders have talked a lot over the years about how NFL rule changes tend to trend a certain way, but now they make pass interference, reviewable. What are your thoughts on that?
I try not to overreact to the offseason changes, because there seems to be like one that looks like it's going to be really big every year. Like last year, the roughing the passer was like dominating the news the first however many weeks, and then like towards the end of the season, it kind of wasn't even a thing anymore. So I think that's probably what's going to happen with a lot of these things. As a defensive back, I don't love it, but They say they're gonna review OPI as well. Probably not, but. Yeah, just don't overreact to it. Still try to play within the rules. You know, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. It'll probably calm down after some first couple of weeks. The preseason will probably be a nightmare, as always, and then it'll calm down. It's fine.
You and Anthony have been in this locker room together a long time. I mean, obviously what happened with him in free agency and him coming back here, what did that mean for you?
I was pretty pumped about it. You know, a guy making a choice like that is pretty big. It doesn't happen a lot in pro sports. You know, even if it's a couple $1 million, which, you know, means different things to different people. For him, it meant staying here.
Why is that emotional for you?
I don't really know, like, I didn't think that would happen. He's one of my best friends. Like, honestly, I wanted him to go get as much money as he could make, like, pro sports. It's how things happen. I obviously wanted him here as well. So I wasn't gonna be upset one way or the other, but, you know, it's an emotional game. And when you make friendships and you make plays together and you're pumped for the guy next to you, that's why I play.
Harrison, you've been here since the start for Adam Thielen. You've seen where he's come from. Your thoughts on just him getting that big extension in his road?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's awesome. And his story is a really cool one to kind of watch and be a small part of. So very happy for him. You know, deserves every bit of it.
Harrison, do you watch the draft, and when you see a team take a player, how certain are you at that moment whether a guy will make it or not make it in the NFL?
0% certain either way. Yeah, I got no idea. I think a lot of people have no idea. Just gotta, I guess people just make educated choices as much as they can. But I think it's just hard. Like, there's so many guys that you see, and you're like, that guy's definitely gonna be big time for a while. Or a guy you never hear of. Adam Thielen didn't get drafted. You know, now he's one of the highest paid receivers in the league. Normally it kind of shakes out how it's supposed to in the long run, but on draft day, like, I wasn't even sure I was gonna make it, you know, like, I was really happy to be drafted, but I didn't know.
So do you watch it?
Yeah, I watch it.
Do you watch all 7 rounds? Or?
I normally fade towards the end. I mean, yeah, everyone in this room, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's still football, you know, related. I got away from the combine a little bit, but the draft's still fun to watch.
Harry, you talk about relationships in the locker room, and Everson was just talking about he had to get through the football when he came back, but now that he's with the guys, he's actually feeling joy for football again. As a teammate, to see that, because you've been around him so long too, you can see that in him, and how does that make you feel?
Yeah, you know, having him, you know, be there, you know, he's Everson, like, he's gonna light up any room he walks into. And, you know, having him in the locker room, doing his thing on the field, you can tell that he's enjoying it, being on the field, being with the guys, and, you know, that's reciprocated as well. You know, it's a guy I've been around since I got drafted. Our lockers have always been really close, so I've learned a lot from him, and just really happy that he's back with us.
Last couple for Harrison.
You got any advice for your general manager for the draft?
No, I'm not going down that road. Yeah, I don't even, like, so honestly, when I was like, maybe after my rookie year, I tried to like, oh, this is what this is going on after, this is gonna happen. I'm like, no idea. I'm just gonna stick to playing safety for a little while.